Oh yeah, guess it's time to film my review for Shazam. Shazam! Huh, well, that seemed a little dramatic.
Hey everybody, Sexy Matt the Pharaoh Wizard here. It's here, the only DCEU movie of the year, Shazam!
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 Shazam! What I like, what I dislike, let's get into it. So since this is the theatrical debut of the hero Shazam, let's check in with the comic snob to get a little bit of history about Shazam. Shazam, you say? Surely you mean Captain Marvel. Yes, I will tell you all about Captain Marvel. See, Captain Marvel was first introduced in Whiz Comics #2 in February of 1940. It was created by Bill Parker and C.C. Beck. You see, Captain Marvel was imbibed with the powers of the Greek and Roman heroes. So he has the wisdom of Solomon, the strength of Hercules, the stamina of Atlas, the power of Zeus, the courage of Achilles, and the speed of Mercury, all which spell out Shazam, the name of the wizard that gave him his powers, you see. Now, you may be wondering why everyone knows him as Shazam, yet his name is actually Captain Marvel. You see, Captain Marvel was introduced after the boom that was created by Superman, and basically, well, he's a rip-off of Superman. You see, and National Comics, who would eventually be known as DC Comics, didn't care for that. So they sued Fawcett Comics, the publisher of Whiz Comics and the creators of Captain Marvel. Due to the lawsuit, they stopped publishing anything with Captain Marvel in it. And unfortunately, during that time of inactivity, the trademark ran out on Captain Marvel. So Marvel Comics made their own Captain Marvel. Now, in 1972, DC decided they would bring back Captain Marvel, but found they couldn't call the comic Captain Marvel, but they could still call the hero himself Captain Marvel. So Captain Marvel appeared in Shazam Comics. Now, eventually, they just went ahead and renamed the character Shazam to make it all easier. But of course, I will always think of him as Captain Marvel. Now, the original origin of Captain Marvel is Billy Batson, a homeless newsboy, finds the wizard Shazam in an abandoned subway. See, the wizard Shazam was looking to pass off his powers to a younger person so they continue to fight evil on his behalf. So he chose Billy Batson because of his misfortunes, although later tellings of his origin would say it's because of Billy Batson's pureness of heart. Once Billy spoke the name of the wizard, Shazam, he was turned into an adult and into the Adonis, Captain Marvel. Now, Captain Marvel had many sidekicks known as the Marvel family, most notably Mary Marvel, Captain Marvel Jr., Uncle Marvel, and Mr. Talkie-Tawny. He's a tiger! Over the years, Shazam, or Captain Marvel, has become a huge part of the DC Universe and is a big part of the Justice League, and is definitely a staple of superheroes. Now you know just a little bit about Captain Marvel. Thank you very much, Snob. So, of course, this takes place in the DCEU. So here is my current ranking of the DCEU movies. Check out the video that just popped up there if you'd like a little bit more information about why I ranked them this way. But that's my current ranking. So where does Shazam fit on this list? Well, let's get into it. So Shazam is brought to us by director David F. Sandberg, who brought us Lights Out and Annabelle Creation. And it's a basic origin plot. Billy Batson, a troubled young man, gets powers from the wizard Shazam and learns to deal with them and maybe comes across some interesting folks, let's put it that way. Without too many spoilers, that's the gist of Shazam. It is his origin story. So let's talk about the characters. So, of course, we got the title character, the man himself, the one, the only, Billy Batson, played by Asher Angel. So, he is fantastic in this. I've never seen this guy in anything, and I honestly looked him up and didn't recognize anything he's been in, but he is great in this. He plays it very real. He's not like a super optimistic, kid, but he's also not super dour and sad all the time either. He's very much in between, very much trying to figure out his place in life. And he's got an extra level that he's been through foster parents and foster families throughout his life. And it's just, him dealing with that and other issues. And then how he can come across when he comes across the total power that is Shazam. What he deals with having superpowers as a 14-year-old kid. Different things like that. But he is awesome in this. I enjoyed what he did in this. It was great. Of course, yes, the man you've been waiting for, Shazam, played by Chuck himself, Zachary Levi. Did you guys watch Chuck? Is Chuck good? I bet you Chuck's good. So, some of you may or may not know that Jim from The Office, John Krasinski, was up for playing Captain Marvel, and I feel like this is what we would get. But it works very much for Zachary Levi and Shazam that he's been on sitcoms and he's a comedic actor. He plays being a kid very good, much like Tom Hanks in Big. He's also very heroic. He looks the part. He is Shazam. I really feel like he is the Robert Downey Jr. of this universe, where Robert Downey was definitely Tony Stark. Zachary Levi is definitely Shazam. He fits this role. He's a lot of fun. He's cracking jokes, but he also can get serious. It's some really good stuff. I really enjoyed him as Shazam, and I can't wait to see more of him. Of course, you got to have a supervillain, and that is, of course, Dr. Thaddeus Savannah, played by Mark Strong, who was in another DC movie as Sinestro. So, is Sinestro hiding out as Dr. Savannah? No. But interesting fan theories are abound. He is great as the supervillain in this. He's menacing, he's dark, he's got a tragic backstory, but he's also, kind of melancholical and scary, and really takes Shazam to his edge. He is the opposite of Shazam. I won't give too much away, but basically, yeah, he is the reverse of Shazam in a lot of ways, and it's really cool. It's really strong. He really puts up a fight against Shazam, because Shazam having so many powers can seem a bit undaunting, a bit of a Superman-style character where you can't stop him, but he shows that he does have flaws and that he can be stopped. Dr. Savannah really takes Billy and Shazam to their limits and really puts him through the ringer, and I liked it. He was a great villain and a great way to introduce this character. He didn't overshadow the main character, and we also didn't have that bit of building up both origins at the same time, kind of stretching out this movie. It felt his origin worked out really quickly and was strong. So yeah, I enjoyed him a lot. And finally, we have Freddie Freeman, played by Jack Dylan Grazer, who you might remember from It. And he is great. So he is one of Billy's foster brothers in one of the foster families, shares a room with him, kind of becomes his best friend. Freddy also loves superheroes, and within this universe, he knows all about Superman and Batman and Aquaman and Wonder Woman. He knows these superheroes, and he knows a lot about them, so he kind of becomes Billy's mentor as he's kind of discovering the hero within him. Freddy's really kind of showing, what he can do and showing him the ropes of what he should be doing, and does some cool stuff there. I really liked what he did. He is a very enjoyable character and a lot of fun. So what did Shazam do well? So, best thing of this movie, it is fun, it's bright, it's exciting. There's a lot going on. It is a complete departure from Zack Snyder's vision that we got in Man of Steel and Batman v Superman and what had to have been cleaned up in Justice League. And I'm going to throw this out there, and I really agree with it, that the farther we're getting from Zack Snyder's vision, the better these movies are getting. Aquaman was a step in the right direction, and this continues on that route. Gone is the dark edgelord. I'm dark and gritty, and that makes me interesting because I'm dark and gritty. And not actually doing anything interesting with the character, just making it dark in this shitty, terrible world. No, this is fun, bright, excitement, but also has some depth and, has some character development and does a lot with the character. Because outside of all the jokes and the fun and the bright colors, there's this great, underlying subtext of family and learning to let people love you, letting people into your lives, and also what goes wrong when you won't let people into your lives. And, the dangers of what can be against what is. There's some really great subtext to this that just builds on everything. So even though it's bright and flashy and fun, it also has its depth. I definitely relate this to something like Guardians of the Galaxy. It's bright, fun, and flashy, but there's a lot also going on, and it really was great. This is a great step of direction in this universe. I hope they do more stuff like this. It doesn't have to be Marvel movies. This didn't feel like a Marvel movie either. It was its own thing, but I like to get something that's not just dark and grim and sad. Unless you're going to do something with it, which Zack Snyder wasn't. It was just because he could. And something you might have noticed from my character descriptions, but the kid actors in this are fantastic. There's also a few more other ones in the Foster family, and all of them are great. I enjoy them a lot. None of them are annoying. None of them are flat. It's these fun, lovable characters, and they were all just great in this. They did a great job picking some great kid actors, and it was well done. Be thinking, it's just another origin movie. I'm tired of these origin movies. But I think this one has enough surprises and enough going on to where it's not a basic origin movie. Yeah, he's got to figure out his powers and bit like that. But there's enough going into it, enough side stuff while he's figuring out his powers. And then, some of the stuff at the ending I think makes it more interesting. There's a lot of surprises, a lot of extra stuff. There's a lot going on to where it doesn't just get bogged down into this boring origin story. And I would definitely not say it's a boring origin at all. It's a fun origin story. But yeah, that was pretty good. Just keeping the surprises, keeping you interested, a lot going on. So one thing that I usually don't mention as a positive, but it's there, is the CG in this movie is fantastic. Specifically on these creatures that are called the Sins. They look so good. They're dark and scary. You can kind of see some of the director's horror influence come into this movie. But yeah, there's also no point where Shazam looked fake. The flying looked great. All his powers look great. And it was just overall just some flawless CG and really made for the movie. And yeah, just those Sin characters were amazing looking. I thought they looked so good. They were fantastic. And along with the CG, you got the fight scenes. There were some amazing fight scenes in this. I went in thinking, whenever an action scene was going to come up, Billy would turn into Shazam and Shazam would just do everything, right? Wrong. They do a lot with the transformation. They let Billy fight some stuff. They let Shazam fight some stuff. They do some in between stuff. There's a lot going on, a lot more than what I really would have expected out of the fight scenes, and I loved it. They really kept them different and interesting, and just kept it a very exciting, moving movie, and I like that a lot. But no movie is perfect. Where did Shazam fall short? Well, first thing is I think they really missed an opportunity of naming Billy Batson's mom Martha.
Why did you say that name?
Oh, sorry, Batman. Jeez, I know that's a trigger word for you. I'm sorry. But really, the major problem I had with this is the disconnect between Billy Batson and Shazam. Zachary Levi plays Billy Batson essentially as just a generic kid. It's Big. It's Tom Hanks and Big. It's not so much what Billy Batson is when he's not Shazam. There's a definite separation there, and I think they could have spent more time together, the two actors, learn more what they're doing, because it definitely feels out. They don't feel like the same character at all, and I get he could be, Billy when he has all the powers and things, but it just feels like there's a huge disconnect between the two of them. So some people might think of this part as a negative, so I'm going to throw it out there. I personally don't, but you might. It does not take itself very serious at all, which is definite a departure from the DCEU. It's not just the dark and gritty, but it has a humor about itself. It's kind of jokes about a lot of the stereotypes of superheroes, so it's more jokey, not as serious, and it really throws you in there. Basically, you just have to accept they're wizards. They don't really give you a whole lot of info before that. They're basically like, wizards! There's wizards! And when you kind of watch the Batman v Supermans and the Man of Steel's, how kind of grounded and earthy they are and the realistic they are, wizards. So there's a bit of that. If that's your bag of what we saw with Batman v Superman and all that, it's going to be hard to get you to pull in that there's just magic now and they just say magic and that things are magic. I didn't find too much of a disconnect of it, but I knew about the character going in. So maybe if you're prepared for it, but if you're not, you may get a little kind of sideswiped by just wizards and magic. So there you go. That's about all the complaints I really have, to be honest. So let's go ahead and jump into spoilers. Let's throw the spoiler sign up here. Jump to this time code here if you want to skip spoilers, because it's spoiler time. So I think a huge spoiler, and one of my favorite parts and one of my favorite surprises of this is they have the whole Marvel family, and that is so cool. I did not expect it, but as they kind of built to it, you're like, wait, are they going to do it? They're going to do it. They're doing it. Oh my God, they did it! And it was a lot of fun. It was really cool. So yeah, if you didn't know, there's a whole Marvel family outside Captain Marvel. There's Mary Marvel and Captain Marvel Jr. and a few others. And they kind of rope in his foster family as this Marvel family. And I like that a lot. It was really cool and a lot of fun. It came, it was a bit of a surprise, but didn't also come out of nowhere. It made no sense. It really fit, and it was a lot of fun. But one weird part with that is, as I mentioned, Zachary Levi and Billy Batson didn't really connect as much, but these other people playing the adult version of the kids did it way better. They really felt like those kids. It was like a direct comparison. It was so good. So it's weird that the main character missed that part, but the others didn't. That's weird. But outside of that, it was really cool. I like to see that. It was a lot of fun. So another big surprise is Superman does make a direct cameo. I don't think it was Henry Cavill because we don't see his face, but we definitely do see the Superman S. Definitely cementing this in that universe where, they mentioned a lot of other stuff before, too. There's a lot of Easter eggs and things. There's a Batarang. Freddy wears T-shirts from all, Superman, Batman, Aquaman, and Wonder Woman. There's also another after credits scene where they mention Aquaman. So it's definitely within this universe, and it's kind of interesting. But yeah, so we see Superman actually coming. So will Shazam and Superman get together and hang out? I'd like to see that. It'd be interesting. And kind of near the beginning, there's a huge hint towards Black Adam, where the wizard Shazam mentioned that he gave the powers to someone before and that they corrupted him and all that. And I think that's hinting towards Black Adam, which there's been a long-running movie in the works starring The Rock as Black Adam. So is this a hint towards that? Maybe. Or maybe not, because also the after credits scene directly referenced Mr. Mind, a genius-level intellect caterpillar that is part of Shazam's rogue gallery. So will Shazam 2 be Shazam versus Black Adam, or will we have Mr. Mind, or will we have a Black Adam movie, Shazam 2, and then bring them both together? I don't know if they've planned that out, but they've left enough open to where either would work for me, at least. I think they would both be pretty good. So that's it for spoilers for me, so let's go ahead and wrap this up. This was a fantastic movie. I loved it. It was a lot of fun. I enjoyed it, and I will wholeheartedly say this is the best DC movie since The Dark Knight. I'm just throwing that out there. I loved it. It had great action, great heart, some great acting, some great abilities, and it made me fall in love with Shazam. I wasn't a big fan of the hero Shazam, but he is great in this. I loved him, and I can't wait to see him interact. It actually made me excited for this universe for the first time in a long time, to be like, oh, I would like to see him as Superman. Oh, what about Shazam, Wonder Woman, and Aquaman teaming up, because they all have powers and histories that relate to old gods. That would be really cool. You know, things like that would be really awesome, and it really excited me for this universe. So I gotta say, for my rating, see it now. See it now. It is fantastic. I loved it. It was great. Yeah, Shazam, awesome. A lot of good stuff. So did you see Shazam? Let me know what you thought in the comments below. Hit that thumbs up to give me a lightning bolt style like on this video, and share this movie with anyone that doesn't believe in Shazam. So I'm Sexy Matt the Pharaoh Wizard. Until next time, hold on to your hold slots. I'm falling down again.